I'd like to see this charge on me. You talk some
Go ahead and get started if you don't mind. You tell Dan, Deacon, I got one at church every time I say it's time to start, he walks off. But, again, thank you all for being here, and, this is just gonna be a light night, nothing serious, I hope. We're gonna do a couple of different things. We wanna, let each municipality just kind of talk about what's going on, and talk about what's going on, and just so we kind of know what's the needs in the community. But before we do that, I was talking to Chance the other day, and he told me he stole this idea, and I'm about to steal it from Chance. We're gonna go around the room, and each one of us is gonna tell something positive that's going on in our community or our city, or in our organization, or in our school, or something that you're proud of that you got to be part of. And just, I want to start everything off positive. You know, even in our jail, there's a lot of success stories over there. The College Career Academy, there's a lot of success stories. So everywhere we get caught up in all the bad things that go on. What about all the good things that we get to be part of every day? That's really kind of the reason we serve, right? To be able to do good for our community and everyone else. So, and actually, before I forget, whatever food we have left, can you get it to the people of the flood victims for us? I don't want it to go to waste. I'm going to take it to them and make sure that they have it. If somebody needs to have a good hot meal tomorrow, holler at a few others when you help them with. Maybe just to do that. One of them, I'll start off, and then I'll go to the right, if that's okay. You are number 10. Number one. You never forgot what district you're in.
District, I thought you meant I was number 2. I was like, man, you couldn't fly together. Which one I was vice president.
Go here.
Yes,
Pretty good, though.
I am District 2.
No, for me, one of the things, and I'm grateful to be back, by the way. I missed the 2 years off, and that is with all seriousness. I'm glad to be back and be a chair and to be able to be part of this great community in another capacity. One thing I did learn while you're out of politics for 2 years, you can still serve your community. There's plenty of ways to be a positive member of society. So I try to stay active and do a lot of things, but since I've been back, one of my favorite things that we've all got to be a part of is the announcement that we're going to have Yancey Caterpillar come here to Catoosa County. I think that is a huge hit to our community. I think it's a huge hit for SPLOST, East SPLOST, and SPLOST and LOST. We're looking at about 1.2 million in pennies coming in from that one business coming here, on top of 50 or 60 jobs, maybe another partnership for the College Career Academy. Another partnership for our businesses, and it's just, they're great people, and I think it's a great organization that's going to be in our community. So that's one of the things that I feel is a positive. There's many, but I know my board of commissioners has got plenty of good things that they've been a part of it. And I want to thank them publicly for allowing me to do this, and for they do a good job. I think this is one of the best boards that this community's ever had, and I'm honored to be a part of it. So I will never say that again, sir. And I hope the recording's not working right now. Let me just say that. But I really do thank you for being part of the great thing. So that's one of the things I'm proud of, and I think all of y'all have got something positive going on. So Jeff?
Well, I hate being next because I'm going to say something, and I'm sure, because we are a team. And every good thing that the Board of Commissioners does, it's the Board of Commissioners. One person can do one thing without the other. And so we just came through budget cycle. Budget cycles are tough. They're tough on everybody. And to be able to work through it and to be able to not only roll back the millage rate to keep things flat, we were able to actually cut the millage rate to actually give a tax break. So by doing that, and by the legislators, what they did with HB 581, there's things coming down the pipe that's going to give even more relief to property owners. you know, people think, I'm sorry, I put on the soapbox real quick, but everybody in this room, property taxes were pretty much mandated by the Georgia Constitution. The school system is still, I mean, that is a yoke they can't get out from under. Municipalities and counties had a little bit of leeway, but now it's been opened up to us, unfortunately not the school system, to be able to raise revenue in other ways. So hopefully we're going to see, not the end, but hopefully a real decrease in property taxes and the burden carried by property owners as they age in their homes. So I'm really proud of that. We've done so many good things, but I won't steal anymore. But I know I probably won't do things.
No.
Rich, there is a 5-minute time. Sorry, I'm gonna throw that out there.
And I want you to video while I'm doing this. So, now, look, I'm just proud to be able to serve. You know, every day it's an honor, and taking the calls from the citizens have been, and being able to help people. I tell you, there's nothing that feels better when you get somebody call and need help with something and you're able to do something and get them a result. So it's been phenomenal doing that. But for District 3, which is, you know, where I'm blessed to serve, look, we've got some great things going on in District 3. You know, I'm happy that as a board we found a solution, and Commissioner Long was the one that kind of brought this forward for that roundabout at Graysville Elementary and Graysville Road and Wootton. You know, that's been a long needed thing there with the traffic, and I know the school board and the sheriff are instrumental in saying, hey, you know, we really feel like this is a good idea too, and it'll work because it's going to take both those partners, and that's why you're here tonight. Just a great example of the partnership that it takes to be able to do great things in the community. You know, the railroad tracks in Graysville have been a thorn in our side, and it still is. You know, for the school buses having to get kids to and from school, and we're still having long train events there. But we finally have something in place now that we're collecting data on, that we're going to actually put some teeth into at some point to get the relief that we need. But these are the great things going on in District 3 that I'm thrilled to be a part of. Yeah, and like they said, the Board of Commissioners, you know, we all bring something to the table. And I just mentioned, it's like Commissioner Long and his experience to be able to throw that out there to say, hey, what about a roundabout there? Well, that was a phenomenal idea. It takes everybody putting that input in to get to the end result. And you're right, Chairman, we've got a board that collectively we're doing a lot of great things. And I know everybody feels that way. The school board and the councils, and you know, and that's what it takes. That's why there's not a sole chair anymore in Catoosa County, because we're more effective as a board with 5 commissioners and a chair. So look, I'm just honored, thrilled, glad to be able to participate. We've got great partners in our community. You know, every day, everybody who lives in this county understands how great this county is. So I'm just glad to be a part of it. Thank you.
Rich, you got him on something good too. I know you're an
Well,
attorney.
yeah, well, I'll keep it short. I'm not an elected official, but I will say, you know, our board members alluded to, I'm honored to be a part of this and have a seat at the table. I'm also thankful to, you know, some of the people in this room, Mr. Childs, and who I've known since I was as a kid. I'm glad to see Dave Moeller. I mean, people who I admire and respect, who I'm glad to see have important positions in this county. And I'm honored to grow up here, live here. And every one of you has, I mean, elected positions, they're, in some ways it's impossible. I mean, and the citizens out there who I know have frustrations and concerns. I mean, we have a relatively small county, yet we have 3 governing bodies who are independent of each other, plus an independent school board. And that's, you know, that's probably not the most efficient way to have a local government, but that's the system we have, and I think everybody does their best to make it work. I think we've done a pretty good job. So, thank you for allowing me to be here.
And I'm going to build on that. I want to thank Chairman and Dan and Richard and all the commissioners for building on that communication. Since we started 3 years ago, this is the first time I'm able to do this round table. I'm very thankful for that. I'm very thankful for everybody working together and lowering property taxes for all our constituents across the board. And y'all did an excellent job on that. And I'm glad we're moving those walls downfield. And if there's anything we can do further, I look forward to it.
Does it have to be my own organization? Can I say something positive about?
Anything.
Okay. And
It's
it's not because we don't have positive things. It don't matter. But what I've been dealing with the last week is a kindergartner starting at grade school, and he loves it.
Awesome.
He might come home and say he doesn't, but that's not true. I've seen pictures and videos, and I have gone into the school, and it's just as wonderful when I was there. And Ms. Reese was my principal. So I'm just very proud that that school has remained as wonderful as it's always been. My dad even went there, and he loved it. So that's what I'm proud of.
Thank you, Rachel. And I'll clarify, you can brag on somebody else. Yeah, good job. And like we tell the lady with the check, there's no, I mean, seriously.
But she stole my thunder, because I'm gonna do the same thing. Just one thing, I graduated from Ringgold. I believe blue and gold, it's just what it is, but, my son's in middle school, Ringgold Middle School, and just last week he wanted to go to the high school football game on Thursday. So I took him out. Now, when I was in school, we would go to football games, but I was in tears pulling through there to take him to that game. The pride, the community, I'm just thankful my kid gets to be a part of the school system. So thank you, and everyone for making the school system.
I guess I'll.
Next.
As a positive in my district, last Tuesday night, we seen this community come together as a whole. I mean, didn't have to beg people to do it. I didn't get to participate much because I had my own flooding situation to take care of, but it was great seeing everybody coming together and doing what the community needed. And then I was also bragging on the board as us as a whole, all the paving that we're getting done, you know, especially in District 4.
Well, they get it all.
And
Still all mine over
And as Richard mentioned about the roundabout there, we're also looking at roundabout at 3 Knots and Boynton, which is a major tie up there, and a signal light at Burning Bush Road, so we got a lot coming down the pipe for traffic.
There.
We're grateful at the sheriff's office for having a lot of good employees, doing some tough jobs, some tough times and tough situations. Grateful for all the partnerships. I'm grateful that we are starting to get back to a roundtable meeting. So we've had these once before when Chairman Henry was there, and communication is key. Gulfport does great things, schools, everybody does, but we're all better together than working individually. And there is some duplication of services and stuff that we could actually build on each other, just like the board is talking about. Them working as 5 and having that, bringing everybody together and talking about things. And sometimes maybe having to have tough conversations. Chairman and I just talked about that before this meeting. But we all gotta know, we're in here for our constituents, for the citizens of Catoosa County. It's not personal, it's about just everybody speaking your mind and trying to get things done. And, you know, that don't mean that my idea is any better than anybody else's idea. I might be wrong. But, you know, somebody needs to say it. I say it even with my staff. I don't want a bunch of yes people. I want somebody who's gonna come to the table with some ideas. If you're just yes, then you're not doing me any good. So I appreciate it. Thank you for having this and getting everybody back together. And, yeah, I hope there's some great things to come out of it.
Keenan?
You want me to go now? So, I guess the positive, I'll go with the sheriff's office too, is we have a 20% unsolved crime rate for violent crimes, which means that we solve 80% of them. We're actually 3rd best in the state. Wow. So, we try to make
Since you didn't mention it, I want to mention the fact that y'all work with the College of Career Academy to have people graduate school and be qualified to be jailers out of the program. That's partnership. That's things that make our community better. Y'all might have been about to use that, but I want to make sure everybody's using it. Oh, you don't need it over here.
Professional side, I'm honored to serve a board that, they have a service heart and they put kids first. And they change lives every single day. I see it all the time. On a personal side, I got to serve food through Amy coordinating through our church. on Sunday over on Faith Street, and it was amazing. I was changed, I was touched, to see the coordination that you're doing and the people pulling together, not just from outside, but, because we were from outside, but the people trying to help each other. It was amazing. Well done. There was many.
Dan?
I'm thankful for Shannon. She takes care of me. And I've got 10,000 kids, and I promise you right now, somebody's doing something I'm going to hear about either tonight or in the morning. And a lot of them good, and a lot of them we're going to use to help. But she does an incredible job, and I'd be lost without her. And then I hope you guys will be out at the LFO Heritage game on Friday. I'm excited about Friday night football back in Catoosa County. Tomorrow night, 7:30, kickoff on the hill. I hope everybody will be out there. We'll have a good time.
I'll be at the Ringgold.
See you there, Melissa.
Yeah, I'll be at the
Yeah, so I'm glad. I like to see what we're doing when it comes to workforce development. I'm a believer that workforce development does not start at post-secondary, doesn't start with technical college. It starts with us in K-12. And I love the efforts that we're doing as a school system to really push those partnerships with the Career Academy and all that good stuff. But I will say this also, talk about good things. You know, I'm not from here. You know, I grew up in New York, lived in Ohio, or stationed in Ohio, stationed in Texas, 2 cities in Texas, and now I live here. This place is the greatest place. If I had to choose it all over again, I would pick this place. Yeah.
Well, first of all, thank you ladies for just reiterating the fact that what we already know, we have the best school system anywhere around, and we'll put that up against anybody. In school, this is the first week. I had one day last week, this is the first week, and we've got some of the most passionate educators around. I've seen them working with I think Chinchi said 65 families that we have, and Cloud Springs Elementary, Lakeview Middle, Summit Lakeview High School, a spattering here and there, and the way the community come together to support these kids, you just don't see that every day. And I am so honored, first of all, to serve on this board with these people. They're just some of the greatest people you'll ever meet, and they all have a passion for kids. And our kids are our future. They are our succession plan, and we have to do what we can do to make sure that we are successful and we're, long gone. And so I'm just the passion that our school system has. And I will invite anybody. I will be glad to take any of you guys into any school that you want to go to. Just come see me. We'll take you in there. I think any of us would do that. So I'm thankful to be a part of this. I love all of our schools, Lakeview, Ringgold, Heritage, all the little ones on the middle school. I go to as much stuff as I can. And it's fantastic to see what they do. It's only been a week. They're getting their feet wet, and they're working out little few kinks here and there that they always have at the first year, but 10,000 kids is a lot of, like herding cats. And we're gonna get there with them, But it's just a fantastic school system, and I'm happy to be a small part of that.
Ditto. And I just want to thank all of you, because I tell you, we really needed support of the community this last year. And we really do appreciate all the support we've had from all of you guys. We do work real well together, and we're very fortunate that we do. We disagree on things, and then we talk it out, and we do a good job of that, and we do our best. But we do put the kids first. The kids are our first priority. And we just appreciate all of you for supporting us in this. Thank you.
I want to say 3 things, actually. First of all, we had an exciting event last year where we started replacing the Boynton Elementary School, which was the oldest school, elementary school in the county. And we got phase 1 completed with that. Phase 2 is in the planning stages, and hopefully we'll be starting that soon. That's a very exciting thing. A second exciting thing is, my youngest grandson started at Cloud Springs this year. And what's exciting about that is his mother went to Cloud Springs, and I also went to Cloud Springs. So I think that's really, maybe y'all don't think it's very neat, but I think it's really neat. And I'm real thankful for that. Thankful for this school system and what it means to our county, and what it means to our students, what it means to our faculty and staff, and the hard work that they do. And the hard work that you do also, that also in lots of ways supports what we do. And we really, really appreciate that. Sheriff, I can't say enough about SROs and the fact that we have SROs in our schools and how important that is, and we so much appreciate that. And then last, I'm going to diverge just a little bit, and I'm going to indulge myself. January the 11th, we are opening a new hospital in Catoosa County. I work for Memorial, so I'm going to say I'm very excited about that. I've waited for this new hospital for 25 years. So it's going to be awesome. And so you get a chance, and I'm sure you will, to come and tour it once we open up January the 11th there on Battlefield Parkway.
Well, I have history with a lot of you in here, and it's been a good history. And of all the positive things that I can think about over my career, my 40-year career in Catoosa County schools, is we continue to have the support of our community. And I think you all saw that today at the Chamber Luncheon. And just a little trip down memory lane, in 2005, I became superintendent, and we had 2 overcrowded high schools. I would walk into Ringgold High School, and students had no place to eat lunch. And so when you think about how far we've come as a community and the support that the school system has received from our citizens, is truly amazing. So we came together as a community at a town hall meeting and decided as a community to build a 3rd comprehensive high school. And you see Heritage High School now. And then over the years, it was my job to make sure that the other 2 high schools were brought up to date. Couldn't have 2 aging high schools and 1 new one. And the community continued to support us. And as you can see, we have 3 comprehensive high schools that are equitable. And now we also have 3 middle schools that are equitable. And we're working now on our elementary schools. And when you think about that over the time period that we've been together, it's truly amazing. And so when I think about the positives of this community, I think about that. And then I think about us coming together as a group, as government entities, and determining that our college and career academy would be at the Benton campus. That was the crowning jewel of this journey that we've been on together. And so I'm just very grateful and thankful for the leadership of every one of the boards in this room and how much you all have come together and supported our kids.
I'm humbled to be among y'all and very glad to be invited to the table. At the Chamber, we work with everyone, right? With the government, the cities, tourism, economic development. Very excited about Nancy Caterpillar coming, obviously. But I guess most recently, work with emergency management and helping the citizens that needed help at that time and being trusted that we could do it. So it was the business, I'm so proud of the businesses, the nonprofits, communities and schools. We're still collecting items to distribute to the citizens that were affected by that. And the businesses who, I told my husband, I said, you gotta watch me because I might walk into a store and not pay because I've been going to all these restaurants and saying, I need to feed 130 people and I just tell them what I need. And they're like, okay, well, you need to pick it up. So there was never a question that they would fill those needs, they just did. And so I'm working with Jason and Steve Quinn and just knowing that, that was making a difference for those families at that time. And then standing out there with the families and with the kids, and one let me hold their baby in the heat of the day as they were waiting for a Chick-fil-A sandwich. And just being able to be a part of that has been life-changing. There's no other way to say that, but I appreciate what y'all do every single day. I moved to Catoosa County in 1999 with a 3.5-year-old who's now 29 for the school system. The same reason that I hear people leave there every day. So I'm just grateful that the chamber is a part of what you all do every day, and that you trust us to do our part. Because we're definitely very willing and grateful for the board of directors that's very supportive to allow that to happen.
Now I have 3 things that you said that. The first one's quick. We moved here for the school system as well, for Catoosa County, and our son's 21 now, Nathan, and he goes to Dalton for history major, but blessed by Heritage High School, middle school, and Ringgold Elementary. I live in Ringgold. I work in Fort O. Fort O, we have a lot of great things. We have great trails and great parks. But here in Ringgold, we have a great trail too. And I just want to say how much I've enjoyed the trail. My father-in-law and mother-in-law don't get to walk with us as much now, but a couple of years ago they were walking with us all the time. Great pictures, fun, walking down the trail. My wife and I are still walking this trail, and I've recently got a digital camera for the first time, as opposed to the Nikon 6006 that wasn't digital that I had. I know, but I want to be able to zoom in. Zoom in on the wildlife. I don't know if you've seen all the wildlife. There's a great herring, there's the rabbits. Yeah, right down here. And we've been seeing the beaver down there. How many of you have seen the beaver down there? And then the other day we saw 3 beavers all at the same time in the swamp. But the last thing I wanted to say was, with the flooding, and some of you may already know this story, and I don't think our police officers are they're not out there looking for recognition or anything, but we know that there was the flooding at the apartments and the roads were blocked and people were, but I don't know if too many people know that a lady almost died in the creek just outside our office. And that's a really long story, I won't go into all of that, but the 911 call came in, our officers were already helping in other places, and they rushed to City Hall in that creek, which is normally 6 inches deep and was 8, 10, 12 feet deep. And this lady was in her car. They couldn't even barely see her because her car was almost completely covered. They didn't hesitate. They jumped in the water and swam, 3 of them. And the one guy learned he probably should have taken off his vest. The other 2 did. One guy didn't. But they got there and saved this lady. And after they got her out, the car was completely covered. I don't think you've seen that on the news. I haven't. They're not trying to get recognition, but it speaks to what everybody did on that day. Walker County and sheriffs and everybody rushing together. But they were just going from call to call, and then they got the call that there was somebody in the car. So that hit me pretty hard the next day. You see it on TV, you watch it happen. It looks, even on movies, but in real life, they got there on site. And they couldn't see the car. They had somebody, because it wasn't at the bridge. It was way over, stuck in a tree near T-hole number 2. So if the tree hadn't been there, her car would have gotten in the river and she'd been. But the bravery of all of our first responders, those 3 officers, I think I would have gotten there and go home. I think I'll wait on the fire station with you. They didn't wait on anybody. They just came.
I'm grateful to know that somebody still buys cameras. I'm just happy to know that. My grandfather will be so happy. For those of you I haven't met, I'm Molly Hughes, city manager for Ringgold. I think several of you have said it over the last week. We had a terrible flooding event in Fort Overthorpe, and I won't go back into that. Of course, we're thankful for all the help that the county, all these organizations, everybody provided. But the mayor actually called me the day after, and he asked me, he goes, you having trouble fielding phone calls? Because I think the natural thing is to assume that everybody's upset. But that was not the phone calls I got. I probably got 100 or something phone calls. It was so much that I was having to give other people messages to give back. And the overwhelming majority was, what can we do? How can we help? And I'm very grateful for that. So thank you all for that. Thank you to all of these organizations who open their doors and their hearts and their wallets and their kitchens and everything. It's really special to live in a community that's the first response, is how can we help? So I'm very grateful for that. And I say that because I just realized that today is August 21st. Today is the 5 years ago today, I came up here and closed on a house moved into it and started a new job in this community. And I didn't realize that until just now. I was like, oh, it's August 21st. Wait, that's important. I bought a house that day. So I'm very grateful to have been here this long and to feel like I'm a part of this community, although I still don't know what the thing, where the thing is used to be the thing, because that's how everybody gets anywhere. It's like, oh, that used to be the Kmart, or the Kmart used to be, I'm like, I'm just here. But I'm very grateful that this community took my family and took me in and made us a part of it. We really do feel like a part of it. I was born in Chattanooga. I've been trying to get back to this area since I was 8 years old, and I find it took me 31 years, but I did it. And I'm very glad to be here, very grateful to my council, and I'm just happy to be in this community.
Is it my turn?
It is. There you go.
Where did I start? I've been there 10 years. Pardon?
Probably the golf.
Oh, yeah, I've been there 10 years, and every year we've done improvements in our city. And I think I can say the same for Ringgold and County. We've still got, a lot of unfinished business. We got a lot of stuff coming, but what makes our job easy, he's the one who got me in this crap. Right here. No, I have learned a lot. So, we have a great city manager, and we have great directors, and they make our job. We've got a great police force, as the sheriff is in the county, and we do a lot for our communities. And people really like that. We haven't had a lot of complaints over the last 4 or 5 years, as we are. Fortunately not. Which is good. You talked about a roundabout. That roundabout at Max Penn worked. It works. Soft, and the builder put extra retaining ponds in there, and they Applebrook actually come back and thank us, or thank Justin. So you don't see that often. So anyway, we got a lot of good directors. We have a great council. We got a great mayor. We got a great city. We got a great county. And we're not finished yet. We got some big projects coming down the road, and hopefully some great. And we got a big Monday coming up next Monday.
I don't know that.
A week from Monday.
Oh, that, yeah.
We have a big thing and it's grown every year, and we've done a lot with Gilbert Stevenson Park, and people love that park. It's packed all the time. And of course, everybody's got pickleball courts now, they're full. So anyway, we're blessed. I'm blessed, and we just help each other all we can. Period.
We'll get toward the end, everybody's already talked about everything. Keep marking off the list. I guess, to me, we're just fortunate we're in a county, like people all the time say this and that, and I say, well, last time I checked, the city of Fort is equal to this county. Also, I was around when you couldn't have meetings like this. I was around when you could call a commissioner at the county, he wouldn't call you back, but there's nothing to talk to you, so. But to have the corporation that we got, sheriff, school board, city, county, that's what makes it not only a community, but a county. And we're lucky that we've got that. What happened during the flood, everybody's talked about it, told the story, but not every community that would respond like Catoosa County was that. And it's just nice to live in one, to watch it through the years, how much it's changed. I guess the biggest problem that we're gonna be facing down the road is we're probably gonna have to get a little bit control on the growth and on the development, and make sure we can keep up with our infrastructure. Because I know as a city in Fort O, we're out of land, we can't go nowhere. Luckily, Ringgold County's got plenty of room. I think we need to make sure we concentrate a little bit on that controlled growth instead of just looking out there and saying, hey, we can put another subdivision here, we can put another. I think we need to slow down and look at it. And just keep going forward, because there, right now, everything that I can think of in both cities and in the county is all positive. That's pretty amazing when you look at the fact that
both the government and the school boards, we pretty much operate by taxpayer money. So we've always got taxpayers pushing everything to the front and bringing out, well, Nick Ware's a good one. You know, if there's something going on, Nick Ware can let people in the county know. And that's not a bad thing. You know, and we managed to do it and still, I mean, hats off to the county for that on that. I don't know how you done it. Maybe I need to come to y'all's school one day. Catoosa County just, in my opinion, is heads up. And you go to some of the trainings and talk to some of these other counties in the state of Georgia. And they're really nice. And we're fortunate there for now. So thanks for that.
Well, speaking of the new hospital, I've been fortunate enough to work on the old Hutchinson Hospital project since we acquired the hospital in 2021 with the Public Facilities Authority and Chuck's the chairman of that board. We have made a lot of progress recently. I mean, the magnitude of this opportunity, this is huge. And it's been really nice to be able to work with the City of Porto and UGA, the Province Institute. We got to do a plan on the hospital as well. But I think we're making really good strides towards that being something incredible, and I'm very excited to see it through.
Well, I have his, I'll have to follow up just for like chance. This young lady to my left, Megan, come to me, she's my executive assistant. I don't know what I would do without her. Of course, I know Shannon, she's awesome too, but Megan is a brilliant young lady, and she has really taken a lot off of me, and I tell her, say, you're my memory, you know, these things get life. You want to know that you need somebody to remind you from time to time. And she's the one that pushes me down and says, oh no, you're supposed to be over there, and that's good stuff. And then Rachel, our CFO, what an incredible job that she does. And of course, Melissa and I have known each other the longest, and we've always been good friends, and it's an amazing job. But this board that I have the pleasure of serving, you know, close to 5 years ago when I was closed in on 28 years with the City of Ringgold, and, you know, I was blue to the heart, right? And to be thinking about, you know, what I need to do, when's the time right, when's the time right. And then this guy, a couple of chairs down from me, he just finally reached out and said, hey, I think now's the time. And I've been praying about what's the next step, you know, what do I need to do? And I always told some of my close directors at the city, I said, look, when I need to start going fishing more, somebody needs to tell me, you know? And none of them ever come and told me that I needed to go fishing. But I've been praying about when is the right time and when is the right time. And got calls and first grade about it. Talked to all the commissioners at that time, and it was a good move for me. And I think y'all for putting up with me for the last several years. And I think we're moving in the right direction. This is a big shift at the county when you go from the City of Ringgold with less than 60 employees, and when you count all the part-time employees and everybody on, I think at one time there was well over 800. So a lot of difference there, and a lot of opportunities for me to learn, to grow and learn what they're doing. I'm so blessed to work with Molly and Mark. We have great relationships, and of course, Chance, we do as well. I'm thankful that we can pick up the phone and help one another out. Something that I'm really excited about is the expansion that we're seeing in our manufacturer right now. That to me, Mayor Barger, of course, he was my mentor, and he was like, as long as you've got a strong industrial manufacturing tax base, that's what helps, right? That's why Dalton, Whitfield County is, you know, so strong. That's why Rome and Floyd County is so strong, for that huge manufacturing. So Megan and I, we've had some interns working for us in the last year or so, and we've had some brilliant young people work with us. And we've developed a database, and we have almost 70 manufacturers in the Catoosa County. And we all know the Charles and, you know, the Metro Boiler and Container Corporation, but then when you start looking at, we have a lot of small manufacturers. And of course, Amy goes on these site visits with us, and Marissa goes with us. But one thing that we've really noticed in the last year is almost every single site visit we go on, there's one common thing. They're either fixing to invest in multi-million dollars worth of equipment because they got to manufacture more, because people are less dependent upon things coming from overseas. Or they're fixing to make an expansion and they need more room. Everywhere we go, we're seeing it. And what happens when they do that? They're hiring more people, right? They're going to be more dependent on the college and career academy. They're going to be more dependent on our school system, and they'll be good partners to our school system. So I'm excited to say that for whatever it is, if it's the tariffs or and I don't want to get into politics, but whatever's causing this, almost every one of them is saying, we're being approached to make this new, you know, widget we've never even thought about. But these larger companies are getting tired of importing them, and they've been sitting on the shelf for months and months and months. So we're going to start making it. And we're also seeing a lot of companies that are now, their biggest problem is logistics because now they're exporting things right here from Catoosa County. So I think it's very exciting. And we are going to support those local manufacturers like we never have before. Charlie?
Well, I hate to be the cleanup guy, but you know what? I mean, it's like many of you have said, we live in a great county. I'm born and raised here. You know, been here all my life. I'm just grateful to serve. When I was back in 2011, I was getting back on the flooding and things. I've seen it happen. I've been there firsthand. I've been on ground zero when the tornado came through Keith over there. You know, my family, we had some loss in our family over there. I was there on ground zero from the night it happened for several months, cleaning up and doing things for my wife's family. So I know what the love is in this county. What we got to do, guys, is we got to care and love for each other every day. And that's what we got to do as boards. We got to care about every citizen. Don't matter what district you live in. I have people call me all the time. Hey, Charlie, can you do this for me? And they're not in my district. It doesn't matter. There's no lines as being a commissioner. It's like there's no lines in being a school board. You work for all, and that's what we do. In city, I mean, I don't get any calls from y'all, but if you ever need my help, I'm here. I mean, that's what I'm about. Is I serve my fellow, you know, brother and sister. That's what I'm here for. And just grateful to serve. District 4 is a lot of rural area. It's the biggest district in the county on the mileage. I mean, we all know that. And I'm grateful to serve and grateful to be a commissioner that is committed to paving. These guys, I mean, without their help, I can't get it done. And I'm grateful to serve with the men and women that I have served with over the years. I'm grateful to these boards that I'm on, that they see some visions that I do. And I'm not the smartest guy out here. I mean, nobody said I was. I never acted like I was. I just want to have a heart, a servant's heart, and want to do the best for the people of Catoosa County, no matter what district you're in. I want to pave in your district as much as I do mine, but that's something that we have been, I'm not saying anything bad, but over the years, District 4 has not got the pavement. But we have come a long ways, haven't we, guys? We started 50-something years behind on paving, and we're getting it close to 30 now, right? I mean, we're pretty close. So we're doing it every day, and that's for the school board, for everybody. I mean, it makes the job easier. And I'm gonna make it real quick, so I don't give you 5 minutes. But when I took over District 4, we had some roads in our county that wasn't paved. They're done now. We've done our job. We got to fix the infrastructure first. And Mayor's right. We have to look at control some growth. We have to do it. Because if not, we're all going to have to find a place to go because it's just part of it. But I'm not educated in the building side of it or anything like that. But I do know we got to slow it down a little bit and kind of look where we're at for the future because it's going to be, our future to be limited if we're not careful. So thank y'all for letting me serve.
Well, I'm completely torn because my daughter goes to LFO, but I'm a Ringgold guy, so I don't know what to do.
Hey, my wife's a Ringgold too, brother. I go by all of them I can. That's all you can do.
I don't know.
Gotta wear them all.
Yeah.
I think you should just say you're thankful for your clerk.
That was his complaint.
I didn't feel any way coming this way.
That's a good feeling. No, thank you for her, clerk. None of this would happen without her. We'd be sitting, there'd be one table left, we'd be holding plates up in the air. I'd have forgotten I invited everybody. Thank you for that. Thank you. So I appreciate y'all taking the time to do that. So everybody's got a positive thing, but everybody's positive thing might be something different. So that's kind of an illustration of everybody might be something more important to them, but we all got the same goal. We all have the same thing we want to do, so we all got that boat rolling in the same direction, and we need to keep it that way. Because us succeeding makes the whole county succeed. And Earl, I appreciate your comment, but I remember a time when it was Fort Oglethorpe, it was Ringgold, then it was the county. And people didn't understand that we are all one unit. And if we don't operate like that, we will fail. And I remember those days. I wasn't sitting in this seat then, but I remember thinking, man, what a mess this is. You know, people couldn't get along, and there's water anything like that. So I'm thankful for everybody that's in this room. And I'm thankful for the ones that aren't in this room, and they're still invited to this table anytime. But I wanted to give the opportunity to one of the biggest things we have going on right now that's going to affect us is our East Block. And we've all bragged on our school, and my daughter is loving LFO right now. I wish it was Ringgold, but you know, she didn't want to shame. But she came in the first day just smiling and happy about being back to school. So on Friday, she's like, I can't believe I can't go back to school Monday. I'm like, what is wrong with you? I just told my daughter. But you know, y'all invested in those old schools, and I see it when I go in. I got the honor to present a scholarship at LFO the other day, and to see the change that school has made, go in that new gym, and to see what our SPLOST dollars have done through the years. To go to the ball field yesterday, put on about second middle, that sounds bad. Yeah, that's it. Recognition and say it again. What did you say? Dedication, yeah, to the ball field. But to see what those pennies do. So I wanted to give the school the opportunity to talk, because it is coming up. It's almost this November. So I wanted y'all to have just a minute to I don't want your 40-minute speech chance, but
Yeah, I'm gonna get it.
but I do want you to remind everybody how important that is to our community, to our success as a community. Because let's be honest, if the school fails, we really do need 10 times bigger of a jail, because a bad school usually dictates to a bad community. So having a good school system, like I've heard for years, people say, I would have to. Let me tell you, I am thankful we have a good school system, because it breeds good kids and it keeps them out of trouble. Now, are they all perfect? Absolutely not. I'm a poster child for the one that wasn't perfect. Thankfully, God got a hold of me. I ended up doing good in my life. But I appreciate what y'all do, and I just want to give you the opportunity to talk about it. So I think David, is you just want to speak to that?
Yeah, I mean, right now, we're just kind of focused on our communication efforts about East Lost. The election is going to be on November 4th. Just trying to gather information from our community, our partners. We're actively listening, figure out, prioritizing our list, what we need to get done. You know, East Lost is huge. I mean, just when you think about maintenance at home, to be able to, you know, roofs are expensive, HVACs, preventive maintenance, all that stuff falls under East Lost technology. So yeah, I mean, these pennies are huge for us. They help fund a lot. So yeah, I mean, we're gonna keep listening, finding out what our families, our individual school communities are looking, would like to get done, and then we'll come back together at the time. We'll start prioritizing our needs once we have that information. But right now, our big focus is just communicating about East Lost, what it is, what it does, and those types of things.
appreciate y'all, what's y'all, time you put into it. That's way short of fixing chances. Thank y'all for picking that. Just kidding.
Yeah. I mean, go straight to the point. Boom, done.
No, Jet's 30 years, we could rip each other a little bit.
You can do it.
But now I want to twist a little bit, and, you know, a lot of people, I don't ever want to have a meeting just to meet, a lot of people worry about that, we've all got enough meetings to go to. So I want to make sure whatever we do is productive. So I want, and I don't want everybody to talk, but one from each group, I want you to tell us a challenge that you're facing. And maybe on the next meeting, I'm gonna try to calm the school system into hosting the next, because frankly, it's y'all's turn. I remember when I left, it was y'all's turn, nothing happened, I got hungry, so we had to, it was my fault. But if y'all were willing, I'd love to start back on that cycle, where we can go to your school and let y'all host a meeting and go to the cities. We've done that over at the museum, and just kind of spread it around a little bit. We did that a lot in our regional commission. It's a good thing. But I'd like for each organization to say, well, what's a challenge that you've got coming up in the future? And maybe, you know, I learned a long time ago, the more minds you got, kind of like having a board.
Can we skip the jail though?
Yeah, we don't go to jail.
Well, we're gonna let them give a highlight. But now, we're gonna set that timer there. We got. Now, I could take that personal.
I think what Dan's saying, we don't want to go there.
Yeah. It's been, we don't want to go to jail. That's what it is. But and just a brief, what you're facing as an organization. And then maybe, you know, there's a group of people here that maybe one of these days could work together to come up with solutions that other people haven't thought about. I don't know. So let's talk about everybody's challenges, and then maybe on the next meeting or something, we can talk about ideas. You know, who knows? Let's figure out a way to maybe do things together, you know, to be more productive. You never know. City, you want to start, Molly, you're always ready. And I don't care if it's a mayor or the city manager or whoever, somebody in the group, just a challenge, not 19 of them, just one of them.
Where's the fun in that? So I think the mayor touched on one when he was talking about controlled growth, that's one. We've got lots of challenges, but none of them are impossible. Just got like a puzzle, just gotta figure it out. I think we've got two pretty big significant projects coming right now. First, Second, and Third Street water line replacement over by the gym in the historic district, and the storm drain line replacement. That's gonna be a big change for that community, but a positive change. And then we've got something I'm a little bit afraid of, which is the replacement of the water lines on Battlefield Parkway. So that's going to be interesting, but it's going to be fine. It's going to be hard for some of the businesses during that time, but we'll get through it. We'll message it appropriately, and I think we've got some zoning issues we've got to correct, so we'll do some city initiated zoning. But nothing we can't handle. It's just and I think probably the overarching biggest challenge is we're trying to change and grow and listen to our community, do what, you know, become what they want us to be, but still retain the character of the town as it exists. And so we want to make sure that we don't lose sight of what makes Fort Overbrook special while we're giving people what they want, so that it doesn't just become, you know, no disrespect to North Chattanooga, but we don't want to look like you could be anywhere. You know, so we want to make sure that we retain that small town feel while still giving people access and amenities that they wanted for a long time. And Mayor, yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Okay. So it wasn't 19, it was like 4.
You know, how we're no different than anybody else. Infrastructure is a problem. It's money bit. That probably getting and retaining officers is probably our two biggest hurdles and stuff we have to deal with every day. When you gotta rehab all this stuff and you're trying to get you to it, add up, it's very expensive. That's where probably every county or cities big headaches at in infrastructure.
I agree. And preparing, getting it ready before the growth's there, and people go, why did you do that? And we really need to be ready before the growth, right? School, I don't know, you chance, I don't know.
I defer to the board, I can always say something, but
Well,
this is really for them.
I think the challenge that we've always faced as a school system is figuring out where the growth is going to be. Because you need to plan for a new school, and you need 10, 15 years to be able to plan for a new school. And so I think the challenge is a lot of times there'll be a particular piece of property that has been either rezoned or perhaps approved for development. So we think we know where it's going, and then sometimes the developer will sit on it. And it's really a challenge to figure out, where the population is going to be, even every year. We move kindergarten classrooms every year all over the place because it's where they show up. And so it's the long-term planning that's the challenge. It's that 10 to 15 years. What are we going to look like as a county? Where is the growth going? Where is the sewer line going? Those type of things are always a challenge. And, the great thing is we have a group here that, will work together. But it's just looking to the future, 10, 15 years, to know, will we need a new elementary school here? Will we need to add on to a middle school? So I think that's one of our biggest challenges.
I agree, and to that point, it was one of these meetings where we kind of dictated where sewer would go because of what it would do to the school. So without having these little discussions, we might end up running a sewer line that would force you into building a school, rushing decisions. That's a good demonstration of a problem, but also a reason.
But I just add a comment, and I think I know the situation you were talking about, I'm not sure, but we also don't want to put two high schools side by side. Because one's at a capacity, and then you're gonna run a sewer line, and have all this development in that same area, requiring another high school. I mean, it's organized chaos, I guess, if you will, because we don't want, we need to know the growth, and we need to know where you're going, but at the same time, we need to be cognizant of what we already have there. I don't know if that makes sense, but you know what I'm trying to say? Yeah.
Well, that makes great sense. So real quick on that, Chairman, if you allow me. When we went around the room, the two stories that touched me quick and the most was your story of 2005, and you've got people standing at lunch with nowhere to sit, right? Huge growth problem that we worked through. And Earl, when you talked about it, the growth and planning for it, those two things just piggyback off each other. So, my thing is this as a commissioner, when I got in and I looked at my district, how many homes were currently approved in my district? They're already on the board. And to your point, Susan, some of these times they sit on the board for 2 or 3 years, and then they take 18 to 24 months to put the infrastructure in. Then the homes start selling, right? And it worries me. And so in District 3, I can tell you, I don't want another stick of sewer stuck in the ground anywhere because we've got so much growth now. But it worries me. And so that was the information I'd love to know from the schools. Like, look, these schools here, we feel like we've already got issues there. So when I'm as a board member and I've got somebody coming forward and they're wanting a subdivision in there, I know that the school system's like, Ringgold's at jeopardy, middle or high or elementary. Those schools are really at a point because that matters to me, To Earl's point, we got to control the growth, and we're never going to stop growth, in my opinion. I think growth is healthy.
We don't need to.
It's healthy.
It's healthy.
In the right way. And so in my district, it worries me, right? Because there's a lot already on the board, and I worry. So yeah, that just really stuck with me. Because I never want to be in your situation again. Or we've got that situation in one school where we have that, 2 high schools together. So thank y'all so much, because both my kids went all the way through Catoosa County educational system, and they are very well-rounded adults. And I know it wasn't just the family, it was the schools they went through. So thank y'all for the school system for doing that for our family. It means a lot.
Well, to get back on what he was saying, I remember in the meeting a few years ago, or 3 years ago maybe, we sat here with the same people, and
and we was talking about sewer. And one of your board here, and we was all talking, and we said, I think it was at political actually. And we was talking about sewers, and we had projects on the table, and one of them was over at Brown Heritage. We said, yeah, Miss Reese, okay, I know she was there. She said, we don't want that over there, because he was at capacity. So that's the things we do, and that's why it's so good to do this. I'm grateful we got it back. And we can make a lot of good things happen by planning ahead, like you said. And like Earl said, control growth. We have to do it planning. That's how we do it this year. And that's what I'm grateful that we're here today, so we can discuss it. And hopefully we can start having these more often so we can plan and make our county even better and our citizens can thrive from it.
Sheriff, you're next. I got an idea, I know what you're gonna talk about.
I've been saying it for 6, 7, 8 years.
Yours is a different kind of growth, isn't it?
Well, not so, but it correlates. If you're gonna grow the community all together, you gotta take the bad with the good. So bad people are gonna come just like good. So, and that's where, when we did the study 10 years ago, that's one of the things, the factor they looked at was the growth of the community, your crime, your courts, and all that. And, 10 years ago, they said we needed to double capacity. So we're 248 beds now, they said we need to be 510. So we're at capacity. So there's a project on the table now that's got a financial shortfall, but we got to sign on something in the next 30 days or so because you wait out and it's only going to continue to cost more. So, but it affects the city. It's not just a county problem. If I'm at capacity, guess what? I can't hold your inmates. Especially when you're charging them under a city ordinance. State warrants and state charges, that's different. But then where we're going to go with it? But then on top of that, which we've talked about before, is mental health. And that's affecting every one of us in here. The school system's dealing with it, the cities are dealing with it, county's dealing with it. But what are we doing as a community about it? What discussions are being had? What are we putting together to say for our citizens, this is what we need to try to do? I am the de facto mental health facility of Catoosa County. I have plenty of them. And that diminishes my capacity because a number of them I have to put in a cell by themselves because I can't trust them with anyone else. So then where I'm 248, if I got 10 that are mental health that have to be housed by themselves, I lost 10 more beds. So now I'm 238. And it's all of our problem. It affects all of us. I think that's a common theme, and unfortunately, we talk about we're just one big group around the table, but we do have these dividing lines. And the dividing lines, sometimes become a problem. And the growth, I'm not pro-growth, I'm pro-property owners' rights. And sometimes you have to look at them and say your rights are superseded by the rights of the many. And so you can't put this apartment complex or this subdivision on this piece of property. We had that situation where we're talking about putting the roundabout on 3 Notch Road, 3 Notch and Boynton Drive. But one of the bigger problems, and I don't know, and we don't want to be heavy on this conversation, but it seems like we dance around a lot. But the sewer from those cities is, we know you guys struggle with it, and we struggle. And then we're trying to come together to keep the dividing line. And, it was brought up, this, 30% surcharge to county residents. And obviously, we are here to represent county residents, but like the mayor said, we all live in Catoosa County. If you're in the city, you're sitting in the county. And I like to see us, we've all talked about it, is, let's focus on the people that have paid taxes all these years and get their sewer rehabbed and fixed, and let's get not so much worry about whose pot it's coming out of, because it's the county taxpayers are paying this money, and the benefits going back to the county residents, whether they're county residents in the city or not. I'd like to see us have meaningful communication and work together to see that no matter what city they're in, or if they're in the county, they're all taken care of and they're all treated exactly alike. Nobody is worth more or worth less just because of what their address is. And that goes in hand with the school system. I think any potential growth, the first person we need to talk to, and I do, and Chance knows, I call them up. And I'm like, what, because our elementary schools are the canaries in the coal mine. And so what's this elementary school look like? And I know at one time, Cloud Springs was like the only one that had real potential, but there's no place to grow around Cloud Springs. But that's what I'd like to see us carry from this, to work together to make sure that all 70,000 people, I don't care what city you're in the county, are treated fairly and treated exactly alike. So,
Then you get to tell them, Rob. No, that's over it, man. I have to talk all the time, that's your job. Unless you don't want to, No, I know you know it's out.
I know, I'm texting him back and forth, but I know with our zoning board, we had a
Yes.
position that was for school representative on the zoning board, so that they could give their input and contact back to y'all when developments came through for rezoning and different things. Do you know if there's someone?
No, Chris does that.
Chris,
Okay,
Chris loves
we still
it.
have
All this
someone
we
else.
get.
He's on there now, I know Mike retired, I didn't know.
Okay, I just want to make sure we say.
Yeah, unfortunately, Chris has to sit next to me at those meetings.
Yeah, he told me about that.
Sit up high, he has to sit next to me.
Okay.
Yeah, he, Chris is coming.
I guess one of the biggest concerns I have is, just like Mr. Jeffries mentioned about Memorial coming up in January. Well, then the county somehow wound up with the old hospital. And, that's gonna be a huge undertaking to make sure that it's developed in a way that's gonna be sustainable, but also it's gonna mesh well with the city of Fort and their plans there. And it's done right. The last thing I want to see, and my board's are going to say this over and over and over, the last thing I want to see is somebody come in there and take all of the vacant land and develop it. And then a small LLC winds up with the 300-something thousand square foot hospital, and they don't pay taxes on it until it's already. That's not what we need to have. So, the board, the Public Facility Authority, with Megan's help and Chris, our county attorney, we're trying to work to make sure that that's going to be done properly. But, Molly, we're going to need, you guys, especially if we get closer into this, to make sure that, whatever's going to wind up being, that it fits, because it's in the city limits of Fort Oakville, and it's in a little portion of it's in Walker County, so we're going to have to make sure Walker County is aware of it. And especially from the utility standpoint, some of the consultants that we've been talking with, they're talking about, well, what about the utilities out there? So, I know Mr. Long, he gave me some good information about, water and sewer, but then you also have gas, and you also have the power. And so, because that's going to be, that's another little city right there, possibly, or a little town center, possibly. But I think if it's done properly, it could really be a benefit to what you're doing through your RSP plan, that for all the things that have been done for you.
And that's just how we ended up with it. That's how we ended up with it, because we wanted to protect our community. Because if you take a 300,000 square foot building and you turn it into a slum or something like that, it's going to be a detriment to the school system, to the jails. So you want to make sure that you have something that ties together with the rehabilitation for those what's already good, and will enhance our communities instead of cost. That is probably one of the major topics that will be discussed around these meetings, to make sure that, that will affect everybody. A project that big will affect everyone in this room, one way or another. So we need to make sure that we're all on the same page with those things. Plus, Mitchell's going to pay for a lot. He's going to give you that.
And I know that the other portion of the reason we wound up for it is moral was leasing it. And if we didn't take over the ownership, it's going to go do it around that track. And then what would we be with the new hospital? So there was a lot of dots connected there.
Well, a lot of positives in our community, but there is a lot of challenges with it that we have to work on, together, try to figure them out. A lot of things that we need to prepare better to figure out where it's going to be, not only for our school, but for our traffic. There's things we can do to prepare for our traffic, so the road's going to come and be ready for it before it gets there. There's nothing worse than Jeff knows. Y'all had to deal with it because y'all had the influx there with numbers. So everything came, and then y'all had to figure it out, which cost more and made it a lot more challenging to do. But, we get a mentality in our communities a lot of times that nobody wants us to spend money until it happens, but sometimes we need to spend money before it gets there, so it'll save money in the future. And find that might be the jail. Sometimes we might have to spend a little up front. Not saying you're getting gas, Sheriff, but I'm just saying.
I hear you. But to that, real quick, Chairman Henry, I think it's going to take both cities and the county to get that achieved, right? Because we all have to get our heads together and figure that out. I think that's a project right there where it does involve both cities, and so that's why it's important to have these discussions. I really think it does.
Well, I don't really have a whole lot more, but I really didn't want to get in depth tonight. I know a lot of people think that's silly, but I think these are just important to break bread together. If anybody's got something they want to talk about, feel free. I do want to say it's good to see Phyllis and Sharice. They're like the celebrities of the county. We missed them. They had some health problems, and Sharice lost her husband. And, thank y'all for being here. Anybody got anything? Sure. Now I want to get ready for class work. Yeah, by the way, I want to say, Mitchell, he brought our GDOT board representative down here to meet with us, and we're going to have a tour in October to look at these projects. And Cloud Springs is one of them that we brought up to because we want to see what him to see. I want him to stand there on that corner and go, yeah, it's a good idea to stop here instead of going all the way to 27. So we're going to take him on these tours in different places and show him like the other at the Old Stone Church where it's just a nightmare for the school to get in and out. So if y'all have, especially you, Sheriff, if you have some state routes that are troublesome, I'd like for you to get them to us where we can make him go see it. Because this guy wants to be boots on the ground for the 14th district and try to get us all the money we can. So if y'all, everybody's got a different area they're in. So let us know if there's state routes, whether it be a bus route, speeding problem, whatever it is on state routes. He's willing to listen and he wants to come there and spend some time with us. And I thank you, Mitchell, for bringing him. Yeah.
Years ago, finish it.
Well, he told us, he said, now sometimes projects get held up a little bit.
30 years?
That's why I said, well, we're working on 30 years, sir. I said, but he's only been there 2, and I will say, I've never had one show up before that wanted to help. That come down here and wanted to take a tour and go around and see. So I think we're headed in the right direction. I think we're on that.
So y'all, the guy that was aware of what he wanted.
Yeah, he's coming back where we'll take him around and physically show him the site. So if y'all have one on your radar, please let me know, or we can make sure that's on the list. We're gonna load him up in a bus and take him around, let him almost get hit 900 times, so we'll get him in. No, we let Jason, I'll drive.
I
We got some great things coming here in Catoosa County. I mean, the hospital's huge for everybody here and our families and our future. That's something that we all are grateful to have because time is, crucial in an emergency. And I'm grateful that everybody came together, memorial with all the leadership we have in the county and partners we have across the state. And, everybody, the state, all the way up getting here, because I mean, it's gonna be huge for our community. I mean, that stuff like that is. And Sheriff, we're gonna do all we can to help. I know you shared a lot of things with us in the past about what your goals and visions are with this new jail. And, we know that mental health is the biggest issue that you're facing on a day-to-day basis. And getting counseling for the people that are there is something I, firsthand know what mental health is about. We're all faced with it in our own families. So, and that's where it starts. That's how criminals are. It's mental health issues. And I'm excited about it. I pray that we can all come together and get it so we can have a better, get these people out here to go back into society. Hopefully it'll help them get back out where they can have a good life themselves. Because, if you, like he said, if you continue just to put them in jail, lock them up, send them off, they're not going to get any better. They're not getting any help. But the program he has is going to get them back out here where they can be a contributor to the society and take care of their families. So it's something we all are doing our best to do, and hopefully we can get there.
Last, Earl, thank you for your partnership and our help with employees, employee help. Yes, we made it, all that's working out well. Not better, so. It's neutral ground. It's neutral ground over there. What not? Anybody else got anything? I got a little 2-year-old screaming for daddy. I'm ready to go home. My little story, my 17-year-old comes downstairs laughing at me first day of school, and I said, "What are you laughing at?" She said, "Well, in 2 years, I graduate." Yeah, she said, "In 2 years, she starts, and you're starting over." Imagine more than that. I'm thankful to start over in Tuskegee. Wouldn't have it any other way. Anybody, all good? Thank y'all for being here. I spent 18 on it.